Tier 8 is going to be the backups. We've got Jameis Winston, Mason Rudolph, Daniel Jones, and Justin Fields. Now, three of these guys probably will start at some point this season, with Justin Fields definitely going to start week one. It looks like Mason Rudolph will start week one, but we're not really sure. And then Daniel Jones will probably take over for Anthony Richardson. But regardless, none of these guys have any legit potential. Out of this list, Justin Fields is the best, but that's not saying much. I mean, he brings a dynamic rushing ability that the other guys don't really. And, that's Tier 8. Tier 7 is going to be the retirement home. We've got Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco. These guys all suck. I mean, let's be honest. At this point in their career, they suck. Now, all four of these guys were excellent in their prime. Aaron Rodgers being a top 5 quarterback of all time, probably, borderline at least. At this point, if you're starting these guys, which the Giants are starting Wilson, the Browns are probably starting Flacco, and the Steelers may or may not be starting Rodgers, that's a death sentence for your team. If you're starting one of the guys in Tier 7, you're looking forward to next year. You're trying to sell tickets, sort of. You don't want to be tanking in week one. But if you're starting one of these guys, you're pretty much tanking early. Now, Tier 6, this is going to be the could win a Super Bowl with Pro Bowlers at every position. This is going to be Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and Bo Nix. And a lot of casuals or people who really don't know ball will say, oh, they had great stats, or ESPN told me they're amazing. Look, last year these guys were all average. All three of these guys were average quarterbacks, which for a rookie is impressive with Bo Nix, with Geno coming back off his 19th different team, impressive. And Sam Darnold, people forgot about him. These guys are average at best, and that's with a good team surrounding them, and they're below average. These guys are below average starters. They're not dynamic in the air. They're not dynamic on the ground. They're not going to lead the most efficient passing attack or the most points per game in an NFL season. These guys are good on good teams, and good's really being generous. Now, Tier 5 is going to be the make or break year. We've got Trevor Lawrence, we got Tua, we got Bryce Young, Drake May, and Michael Penix. Now, Michael Penix probably has the longest runway. If he has a rough year but shows some flashes, I think he'll be starting next year. The other four guys, look, they've got to get it done this year. Trevor Lawrence, you got Brian Thomas, who in most years is a Rookie of the Year, or Offensive Rookie of the Year. You've got Travis Hunter, who, you traded up, one of the earliest wide receivers picked ever. You've got Travis Etienne. You've got a new coach. You've got a weak division. If Trevor Lawrence can't put it together this year, he's got to go. Tua has Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, an offensive-minded head coach. You've got A-Chain. You've got to get it done. Bryce Young, I mean, they're helping him out a lot with Tedero. They've got Xavier Legette, offensive-minded head coach. The running back that they drafted last year, I think it's Jonathan Brooks. You got to get it done. And then also Drake May, he's kind of tough to tell if they get rid of him. But if he finishes with a 3-14 record, 4-13, 5-12, 2 back-to-back seasons, new coaches, you got new wide receiver Stephon Diggs, new running back in the draft. If Drake May has a terrible year, he's probably out too. So these 5 guys, with the exception of Michael Penix, are make or break. I think one of them will end up being elite. I'm not sure who. And 3 or 4 of these guys will probably not be starting next year. Now, Tier 4 is if all the stars align. And Part 1 of Tier 4 is going to be Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, and Dak Prescott. I think these 6 guys, if everything is perfect around them, can take you on a deep playoff run. If you got a good receiving core, good O-line, good game scripts, you're not asking them to convert 3rd and 18s or come back down 14. I think if everything goes well, good coaching, no injuries, I think these guys can all lead you on deep playoff runs. But if everything goes well, I think on a bad team, bad coaching, bad game script, I think all 6 of these guys will be outclassed by Tier 1, 2, and 3, and potentially some guys from Tier 5 if they break out this year. Now, Part 2 of Tier 4 is going to be Jordan Love and Kyler Murray. I view them as not better, but I view them as more likely to win a Super Bowl for the fact that I think these guys both have higher ceilings. I think both Love and Kyler Murray, when they're playing at their best, and I don't really think they need an all-star lineup, but I think if they've got an okay team around them, I think when Love and Murray are playing at their best, they can compete with anyone. They can both be MVP caliber quarterbacks. The issue is injuries and inconsistencies. So the first 3 weeks this year, Kyler Murray could be the best quarterback in the NFL. Call of Duty comes out and then he doesn't care. Jordan Love could get injured. I mean, both these guys are just inconsistent, and that's why I've got them in tier 4. But both those guys can compete at their best with anyone. And now, tier 3 is going to be just a touch below / unproven. I've got Jalen Hurts, C.J. Stroud, and Jaden Daniels. Now, when I say just a touch below, that's really just for Jalen Hurts. I think he's an excellent quarterback. He's a great rusher. He's a great leader. He's not getting injured ever. They have a dominant play that is focused around him. Some would argue the offensive line, but I think it's mostly focused around him. And, I mean, he's a good passer. He's an excellent runner. And there's really no huge hole in his game. The only reason I say just a touch below is I think everyone else on this list, including the 2 guys on tier 3 with him, if they're down 14 in the third, or if they're down 2 possessions with 8 minutes left, I think with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, you're kind of assuming it's a loss. With these other guys who I haven't named, as well as C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels, I think you're thinking, we've got a chance. If you're a fan of the Texans or Commanders, you're like, oh, we have a real chance. We're not out. If you're down 28-14 with 4 left in the third, I don't think those other fan bases are thinking they're out of the game. I think the Eagles do. Now, the unproven part, which is C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels, for C.J. Stroud, I just need him to show me one more year. I think he's been a top 10 quarterback both his rookie season and his second season, and I just need one more season out of him. Jaden Daniels, possibly the best quarterback in the NFL, and I don't say that lightly. He took a horrendous team, took them to the NFC Championship, and got beat by the juggernaut Eagles. He's a great rusher. He's a great passer. He makes everyone around him better. The only reason I don't have him higher is we've only seen it for one season. And there was some rough patches in the middle of the season for him as well. So I think Daniels and Stroud can both move up to tier 1 or tier 2 if they can prove themselves more. And with Hurts, if Hurts can improve just a little bit on the passing, I think he could move up as well. Now, tier 2 is going to be tie goes to Mahomes. So that kind of gives away who's in tier 1. But tier 2 is going to be Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. You can argue the order of these guys. I'd probably say Allen 1, Jackson 2, and then Joe Burrow 3. But regardless, I think these guys are all pretty even. The reason I say tie goes to Mahomes is I think Mahomes kind of bends the odds and kind of warps reality. And I'll give you a good example of this. I think of all these guys, if we're giving them letter grades for their performance, I think if, let's say, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, you're going to tell me before the game, they both will play an A+, the best they can. I'll take you back to that, I think it was 2022 AFC Championship with the shootout, where they won the overtime. Mahomes, 13 seconds, gets the field goal, goes in OT, they win it. That's kind of what I'm thinking about when I talk about this list, or the AFC Championship in 2023 with the Ravens. Lamar and Mahomes both play kind of mediocre, and Mahomes wins that. It seems like regardless of what happens, the only way you can beat Mahomes is if you play good to great and he plays mediocre to bad. If you guys both play good, Mahomes wins. If you both play great, Mahomes wins. If you both play bad, Mahomes wins. And I really don't think the gap is that big. Skill-wise, I think Lamar and Allen are both more skillful per se, but when it comes to winning, I think it's really tough to argue that Mahomes isn't just a step above. And I know Joe Burrow has a favorable record against Mahomes, but if they're playing in KC in the playoffs, I think people are going to project the Chiefs to win. And obviously, now that I've already given it away, tier 1 is Mahomes. I think he's a touch above tier 2 as well as tier 3. And until he's beaten by those guys in tier 2 and not beaten by a juggernaut team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady and 9 Pro Bowlers, or the Philadelphia Eagles who turned off salary cap and were able to beat them this season, I'm probably going to have Mahomes in tier 1.